guys, it's Allie, and thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Rapid City Public Library's Fantastic Crafts Wednesday. Today we're going to be doing Billy Goat Float activity, and we're going to be exploring the scientific method. But first, let's talk about the summer reading program really quick. If you haven't gotten your log yet, make sure to grab a log, because this week is the first week that you can turn in your 25-day log. Track 25 days of reading, turn in that log, and you can get a free book and a small prize here at the library. You get to choose the book if you come into the library, and then you get a surprise book if you come through the drive-thru. It's going to be really exciting. We have so many great books and prizes. Also, don't forget to get another log when you're here turning in your 25-day log. You want to get another one and read for 50 days, because once you complete your 50-day log, you can enter to win a bigger prize. So you get the book, the small prize, and a chance to win one of our cool bigger prizes. Let me show you some examples really quick of some of the prizes that we have. So my first example is a frozen fishing rod. So you can hit the lake with your family and catch some fish for yourself as well. This is great for, ages about 4 to 7, 4 to 8, maybe even a little bit more. You know what? It even fits my hand pretty perfectly. I wouldn't mind using this. Probably catch some good fish. Let's look at the next example prize really quick. This one's really cool, guys. This is a robotic spider that actually climbs, and you build it yourself. You can see a little bit on the back. It comes with all these different parts, and you get to put it together, learn a little bit about electricity and how robotics works, and build your very own robot. Cool stuff, guys. If you want to see more of our prizes, come on into the library, check some books out, and you can look at our prize display that's in the stairwell. Well, let's talk about our activity for the day, Billy Goat Float. So you guys might have heard the story of the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. It's a great classical tale about 3 goats who are trying to get over a river. There's a troll, though, who lives under the bridge. Find out what happens next by checking out a book or a copy of the book at the library. But essentially, the goats are trying to get over the river, and so that's what our activity is going to do today. We're going to help our goats get over the river, but this time they're going to be going by boat. We're going to build 3 different boats and test which one floats the best, which therefore being the most successful at getting the goats from one side of the river to the other. So in doing this activity, we're going to be learning about the scientific process. The scientific process is a process that all scientists use in order to get the best and most correct or accurate results. There are a few steps to the scientific process. We're going to focus on one of them today, but I wanted to tell you the steps really quick so that you can think more about them and maybe use them a little bit in your own experiments. So the first step in the scientific process is to ask a question. Our question today is, what boat material will be the best at getting the goats across the river? The second question is the second point is to gather information. So you want to do some research about what type of material floats the best and what type of material could carry the goats the best. The third part of the scientific process is the part that we are going to be focusing on today. It is make a hypothesis. So a hypothesis is an educated guess. It is a guess. It's you guessing what will happen based on the information that you researched. So we'll create our hypothesis when we get started. Let's talk about step number 4. It is experiment, so that's doing the actual experiment itself. Step 5 is to analyze your test results, and analyze means to kind of look at them, think about them, and compare them to what your question or hypothesis was. And then number 6, the last part of the scientific process, is to present a conclusion. Was your hypothesis correct? Why or why not, do you think? Well, let's get to the scientific process in our activity today, but first, let's look at what we have in our kits. All right, guys, in your Billy Goat Float Take and Make kits, you should have 3 pieces of paper, 3 popsicle sticks, 1 little goat or sheep, 2 corks, a sheet of glue dots. These will help glue things together. Some a sponge, your instruction sheets, little booklet here. And in addition to what you have in your kit, you're going to need a small tub of water. You can also use your kitchen sink or your bathtub if you want, but I'm going to use this small tub of water. I have about 1 inch of water in there. And the last thing that you're going to need is a timer. So I'm going to use my cell phone. You can use one of your parents' cell phone, or you can use a computer if you have a timer on there, or you can use just a regular stopwatch if you have one of those on hand. Let's get started. Our first step, we're going to take all of our materials away and carefully move our water. Our first step is to go to the back of the book, and we're going to fill out our hypothesis. So remember, we talked about how a hypothesis is an educated guess. It's a guess as to what will happen in our experiment. So our hypothesis says, I think that the blank will be the best material to create a boat with because, so you're going to guess what material you think would be the best to make a boat with and why. And then the next part of the question is, I think that blank will sink because, so what material do you think will sink? You'll fill that in here, and then you'll tell why right here as well. We also have this little trial table here, and we can record how long your boat floats for. So let's go back to the instructions. First, we're going to create our paper boat. So we've included instructions on how to fold an origami boat. It's right here in the middle of your booklet. So let's fold our origami boat. You'll notice that you have 3 different types of paper. You can choose whichever one you want. We have construction paper, we have cardstock, and we have regular paper. And they all have different thicknesses, different weights, which equals a different density. And density affects how something will float. So I'm going to choose the cardstock. This is kind of a thicker paper. You can start with whichever one you like. Actually, I'm going to switch that out so we can see it a little bit better against the table. That makes it hard when the cardstock is the same color. So our first step, just following those guides in our book, we're going to place our origami paper lengthwise, longways, and fold it up hamburger style. So you want to try to match your edges really nicely. All right. Our next step is going to be we're going to kind of fold over again, but we're not actually going to fold all the way. We just want to do enough to make a little crease right there at the bottom, about that 1st inch. There we go. All right. So next, we are going to take our ends that are folded, and we're going to create a triangle shape. So you want to bring in the ends of your corner into the center like that. There we go. Sorry about the phone in the background, guys. All right, so now we have a triangle shape at the top. Next, we're going to take the top flap of that bottom part and just fold it over. Cool, so we kind of have something that looks almost like a little hat now. In fact, we're going to make it look even more like a hat because step 3 is to flip the paper over to the other side. And then we are going to fold this side up as well, this flap up as well. Now go ahead and unfold it once you've created your crease, and we're going to fold the corners in to create triangles again. So one on this side and one on this side. And let's go ahead and fold it up again. So now we're on step 4, and we're going to make the bottom of the boat. So we already refolded the bottom of the model back up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open your boat and just pull it slightly, and you can see we make a diamond shape as we pull those edges out and flatten it. All right, so now we have a diamond shape, and we have this guy overlapping. Same thing on this side. We want to tuck these parts that are overlapping into those
triangle folds that we made earlier. So it kind of seals it up, see that? Same thing on the other side. All right, next step is we're going to fold one layer up to the top. Nice job. And we're going to flip and do the other side as well. All right, and once again, we're going to open our boat underneath and just squash it so that it folds opposite. And we have another diamond. The last part to finalize your boat, we're going to take this little tab and this one, and you can kind of fit your fingers into there if you can see. And we're just gonna pull it apart to create our boat shape. Then you can kind of flatten the inside, put up the mast, just that little triangle part in the middle. And we'll just kind of shape it a little bit. And we have our paper boat. Nice job, guys. So you can make all 3 of your paper boats right now if you want to, or you can test one at a time. I'm going to test just this one right now. But first, I'm going to create my other boats. Our next step, boat 2, we're gonna make our wooden boat. So there's really so many different ways that you can make your wooden boat, but what you'll need are the 3 popsicle sticks, your 2 corks, and the glue dots. So experiment a little bit and see what you think would be the best way to create your boat. I'm going to put my 3 sticks together like this, and I think I'm going to attach them to the corks just like that with some glue. But you can try anything you want. All right, so I've built my wooden boat with the corks, and it looks like a little car. There we go, we'll place it right next to our paper boat. And our last boat doesn't require any building because it's just a sponge. Let's go ahead and test out our experiment. Now remember what you hypothesized. Take a look at your hypothesis one more time before we get started so that it's fresh in your head. And let's get your little figure ready, your goat or your sheep. I'm going to test out the paper boat first, so we'll put the goat in the little paper boat, and let's get our timer ready. All right. And here we go with our paper boat. So I press the timer as soon as I put the boat in, and we're going to time how long it takes until it sinks. Hopefully it doesn't, but I can already see some water seeping through. All right, my paper boat sunk at exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds, so I'm going to write that down for my boat 1, trial 1, because this is our first trial or our first test, so you would put that number right here. Let's test out boat number 2, the wooden boat. Squeeze out all that water. We'll clear this. And once again, we'll place our little goat on our boat, goat on a boat. And I'm going to gently put this in here. And press start. Wow guys, this one has been floating for a long time. Just checking back in, it's been 5 minutes and it shows no signs of sinking. So I'm going to take this out since it reached the 5-minute mark, and we're going to test out our next boat. But first we need to write down our observations. So you'll put down the time that your wooden boat was able to float. Well, let's test out the sponge last. Again, we'll put our goat on there and we'll just place it gently in the water. And, oops. start our timer. Oh my gosh. Wow, guys. That was about 5 seconds, and the sponge already absorbed so much water that it sunk. So that boat didn't do very good, according to my test. So we would put that result here. And based on the test that I did, it looks like the wooden boat was the best material to create a boat with, because the corks held the wood above the water, and the corks were able to float on top of the water without absorbing any water. Therefore, they were not weighed down or anything like that. In our booklet, we have some suggestions, so you can read the story of the 3 billy goats gruff yourself, and we have all of these books available at the library.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today as we did our billy goat float activity. I hope that you learned a little bit about the scientific method as well as having fun. It was really cool to be able to learn how to make an origami boat. I have made probably about a dozen at this point because it's just really easy to fold and they're really cute and fun to have around the house. So keep trying different boats with different materials. You can try other things with materials that you find around your house as well. Try creating your own boats and then observe how long they float for. And remember to hypothesize as well, to make a guess as to how long some things will float for or what material will float best. Also, don't forget to keep logging your minutes in the summer reading log, because we have so many cool prizes and we need to give them away and we want to give them to you. So keep on logging those minutes and press the subscribe button so you can get the latest updates from the Rapid City Public Library right here on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. I'll see you next week.